Alright, today we're going to be continuing with the STAAR 2017 released Algebra 1 EOC. We're going to start with problem number 21. And we're going to take a look at what it's asking us to find. We're going to go through 5 problems right now and try to limit this video to 5 problems at a time. So it says the population of Center City is modeled by the exponential function f, where x is the number of years after 2015. The graph of f is shown on the grid. So these are the years after 2015. It says which inequality best represents the range of this function. So this is basically asking about the range of an exponential function. Okay. And specifically, the range after 2015. Okay. So, right now, at 0 years after 2015, it looks like the range, the y value, is right about here, perfectly between 300,000 and 200,000. Okay, so right here, between that, I'm going to put a little line right here, between that perfectly would be 250,000, because that's perfectly in between. Now, if you didn't know that, you could take 200,000, all right, and add 300,000. Okay, and then take that answer and divide it by 2. And that gives you the 250,000. So that's basically where the range starts. Okay, but as you notice, the range right here is going to continue. It's going to continue to go up and up and up and up. And this is something where you got to really pay close attention, because you'll notice the arrow, it has not stopped. There's not a solid dot right there where it says it's going to finish right there. It just continues to go up forever. So if it's continuing to go up forever, it goes towards what's a concept called infinity. Positive infinity. Okay? So right now, notice it's never going to stop. It just keeps going up over time. So right here, anytime you see x is greater than or equal to, that's not talking about the range. It's talking about the domain. So the range is always going to deal with your y values. Okay? So right here, we can automatically say, you know what? These aren't our x values. It's dealing with our y values. So just remember, domain deals with your x, and range deals with your y values. So we have a couple of choices here. We have B or D. Okay? B or D. A, C, not A. So right now, notice if it had a limit right here, and there was a solid dot right there, then that would be answer choice D. But since it goes on forever, it's going to be answer choice B. Okay? So because of this arrow going forever and ever and ever, it's answer choice B, which means your y values are greater than or equal to 250,000. All right, moving on to the next problem. Here we go. All right. It says a sequence. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so we can. There we go. A sequence can be generated by using a of n equals 4 times a n minus n, where it says a1 is equal to 6. So your first value is equal to 6. And n is a whole number greater than 1. What are the first 4 terms in the sequence? Okay, so we're going to be taking this little formula right here. Okay, and it says n is a whole number greater than 1. So I'm going to put it's a whole number greater than 1. So what's the first whole number greater than 1? The first whole number greater than 1 is 2. That's the first whole number greater than 1. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to make a little table here, and we're going to start with a1 equaling 6. Okay. Now it says our n value is greater than 1. So the first number that's greater than 1, that's a whole number, is 2. So watch what happens when I say a2 is equal to 4a open parentheses. I'm going to put n minus 1. Well, if I plug in a 2, it becomes 2 minus 1. So you get a2 is equal to 4 times a1. This is where we're going to use some substitution here. Our a1 value is equal to 6. We'll say 4 times 6, which is equal to 24. So what was our first term? Our first term is equal to 6. What is our second term equal to? 24. What is our third term equal to? So here's how you would write it. For n, you would plug in a 3. Let's say 4a, open parentheses, and this time instead of 2 minus 1, you're going to put 3 minus 1. Okay. And that equals 4 times a subset 2, because 3 minus 1 is 2. Well, what is our a2 value? 24. What is 4 times 24? That's equal to 96. Now we kind of start to see a pattern. Obviously, you can kind of see pattern, how it's going. Okay, the answer is answer choice F. But basically, it's saying every single time, what's happening? The next term is simply being multiplied by the number 4. There's nothing being added to it after it. Okay, it's just being multiplied by 4. So the first term is 6. The second term is multiplied by 4. It gets us to 24. Third term is multiplied by 4. It gets us to a 96, and it goes on, so on and so forth. So that's kind of how you use this this sequence formula. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and head on to the next problem. Right here. All right, problem 23. It's asking us to find what is the equation in slope-intercept form of the line that passes through -4, 47, and 2, -16. Now that's you don't really have to want to plot those points to try to figure those out. So we're going to do a couple of different ways here. All right, the first way we're going to do is just use the graphing calculator. All right. Make that L1, make that L2. This represents your X, that represents your Y. If you've never used the stat editor before, you will know how to use it after this problem. Okay. Now, it's very important that you plug in things correctly. So that's going to be a -4 and a 47, and that's going to be a 2 and a -16. So one way just to kind of eliminate some answer choices is figure out which one of these is, obviously we know what the correct slope is going to be. It's either going to be -21 over 2 or -2 over 21. So we're going to eliminate a couple of answer choices real quick just by finding the change in the y over the change in the x. We'll put change in y, delta y, over change in x, delta x. So this drops down. 47 drops all the way down to a -16. So that's 63 units being taken away. Okay, that's one way to do that is you could take the y2 value, which is -16. y2, x2. x1, y1. Right, take -16, which is your y2 value, and take away 47, all right, which is your y1 value. When you do that, you get a -63 over. And let's do the slope formula. You guys have probably seen this before. I'll go over here, see if I can look at it real quick, show you which one I'm talking about. Okay. There's your slope formula, slope of a line. So we're just using this formula real quick. And over here we have our x2, which is 2, and our x1, which is -4. And that becomes a 2 plus a 4, which becomes a 6. So there's our slope, -63 over 6. Well, these are both divisible by 3. Okay, they're both divisible by 3. So if you divide this by a 3 and divide this by a 3, divide by 3, get -21 over 2. So automatically we know the slope is, that's correct and that's correct. So all we gotta do is figure out which one of these is the correct y-intercept. So B and D are totally wrong. Well, what I want to do now that I figured out that's my change in x and that's my change in y is we're going to use the stat editor. So go to your stat button right here, stat, and hit edit. We're going to type in our numbers. So what are our numbers again? Let's look. We got a -4 and a 47. So I'll type in a -4 and a 47. And over here, let's take a look again. It says a 2 and a -16. 2 and a -16. All right, so we hit the stat, we hit the right arrow, go down to number 4, we press enter all the way down, and there you go. Look what it says. Now, this is our correlation coefficient, stuff like that. You don't have to worry about those. I have the diagnostics on right now. All right, so there is our answer in slope-intercept form, 10.5x plus 5. Now what is negative 10.5? That's negative 21 over 2, which we found. And there's our y-intercept right there. So what does that end up becoming? That's our answer choice C right here. Well, that's one way. You could use the stat editor. But on the other hand, you already have everything in y equals form. So an easier way might be just to hit y equals and type in negative 21 divided by 2x plus 5. And let's check our table. Now what do we need to check our table at? Negative 4 and a positive 2. So we're going to check for negative 4 and a positive 2 and see if we get this right. Okay? So negative 4 and a positive 2. Here we go. Check your table. Oh, look at there. There's the negative 4. There's the positive 2. Huh, interesting. So maybe an easier way to use your graphing calculator is if you have all of these equations right here, all of these equations are in y equals form, just type each of them in and check your table. All right? Make sure you have a negative 4 and a 47 and a 2 and a negative 16. Let's see if I had over here. Oh, not that one. Right there. Negative 447 and 2 and a negative 16. All right? And that's about as easy as it gets. Okay? So let's go ahead and go down to number 24. Take a look at this. Got a couple more problems to do, 24 and 25. We'll call this a day. So right now it says the graph of f of x equals x squared. That's your parent function for all quadratics. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in. Hit y equals. I'm going to just type in an x squared. Take a look at it. Oh, I better hit zoom 4. There we go. Zoom 4 is kind of a good zoom to have to be able to kind of see the parabola. If you want to, you could hit zoom 6 and take a look at it like that. It's fine. All right, so we have that right there. Let me go back to the problem. So it's transformed to create h of x equals 2 times f of x. Which graph best represents f and h? So basically what it's asking, it's saying what h of x is equal to. H of x is equal to 2 times f of x. Well, what is f of x equal to? It's equal to x squared. So all I have to do is do this. H of x equals 2 times x squared. So I'm just going to take my original function, which is x squared, and I'm just going to multiply everything by 2. So let's take a look at it. Let's go to y equals, go down here, type in 2 times x squared. And hit graph. Look what happens. It becomes more narrow. Okay, so that when that a value gets bigger, it becomes more narrow. So which answer is that? All right, so let's kind of highlight some things here. It says f of x is x squared. So this right here, there we go. So f of x is x squared. H of x is 2x squared. So we're going to say, I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see it a little bit better. It's not. All right, zoom in on the correct answer. Okay. You'll notice if this is f of x, this is h of x, just like in our graph right here. If you look at it, okay. So I'm going to go and highlight. This is our original graph right here. Man, could just come. Great. And then this one was h of x. So notice it's a lot more narrow. So you just got to follow that. So all you got to do is just type it in the graphing calculator and compare them. And that's going to be answer choice J. All right, last problem of the day. Problem number 25. Here we go. It says, a student is ordering a flower arrangement. She can choose any combination of roses and carnations for her flower arrangement. And she does not want to spend more than, ooh, that's important, does not want to spend more than 30. Okay, can't you spend 30? Sure. Can't you spend more than 30? No. So anytime you guys see no, basically not, more than, that's going to mean less than or equal to. Okay, so you don't want to spend anything more than, less than, or equal to. Now it says if roses cost $3 each and carnations cost $2 each, Which inequality represents all possible combinations of X roses and Y carnations? So we have X roses. Ooh, roses are 3. Carnations are 2. Alright, so here we go. So we have 3 goes with the X. We're going to add $2 per carnation, which is Y. And this is where we use our symbol, alright, our inequality symbol right there. So we're going to say all of that is less than or equal to the max you want to spend, which is 30. Alright, let's check it out here. We've got 3x plus 2y. There we go. That's B. Okay. By the way, this right here is your less than symbol. Okay? That's your less than or equal to, which is no more than. This is greater than. And this is also less than or equal to. Okay. Equal. Now, D and B are very similar to each other. They both have the correct inequality symbol, but this says 2x. And it says roses cost 3 each, so the 3 has to go with the roses. And carnations cost 2 each, so that has to go with Y. That's why the answer is B. And that's going to be all for this video. So hopefully this was helpful in helping you guys through problems 21 through 25.